Hello and welcome to Ladies Who Question. We have a rip-roaring episode, and I like what you called it when we were talking earlier.
Killer toys.
Yeah, killer toys. A throwback, as you said, to our our demented childhood.
Those golden years.
Well, yeah, it was. I'll tell you what. From what I hear about kids growing up now, and ever since our time, it's different.
Mm-hmm.
And it's different because apparently now it's less dangerous, but I don't know. I don't know. So anyway, what we've got is, remember all those toys that you had as a child that you and I probably had, but everybody else who, any of our listeners may have had growing up, if you were a baby boomer, if you are a baby boomer, that when you look back, you go, really? That was on the market? What were they thinking? And parents were buying them for us because they were great.
Yeah.
Right?
They didn't have the regulations that we have today.
No.
And there wasn't the amount of toys out there to choose from compared to today. So, they bought what you wanted. It was on TV. You go, I want that for Christmas. Okay. Done.
And they didn't even really, I don't think they thought twice about it. Because
No.
it's kind of like, well, it's on TV and it's in the newspaper and it's talked about on the radio and the neighbors have one.
Exactly.
And we're probably bugging them going, hey, I want this. Can I get this?
We're the only ones that don't have this.
That's right. And so, of course, they relented and they didn't think about it. The one that comes to my mind most readily, and maybe you had this, and to me, it was probably one of the most dangerous, jarts. Lawn darts, but the brand name was Jarts.
Never had it and don't even know what you're talking about.
Okay. They were, you know what darts are, obviously.
Right.
These were giant. Like, I'm making a gesture with my hand for Holly to see.
Like 2 feet?
Well, that's about a foot.
Yeah. Okay.
But they were huge.
Wow.
And they were large. The tip was large. And, like about this big around, which the circumference, I guess I don't know what this circumference, I don't know that's probably an inch, whatever.
Whoa.
So, and whatever. And it came with 4 darts. That was the brand name, Jarts.
Okay.
And a plastic circle or something. And you would throw them into the circle. The opponent was on the other side.
Oh my gosh.
So there were 2 rings.
Yeah.
Plastic rings for you to get them into the lawn. It was in the lawn. And they killed people because these giant darts would land in people's heads. Because, an errant throw, like crazy
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they were for...
Well, even adults.
Yeah.
Because I used to play it with my dad.
Oh my gosh.
He got it. We didn't think a thing of it.
Wow.
And all he would say was, I remember, now stand back, away from the circle.
Mm-hmm.
But if you didn't stand back and you had some doofus standing in the circle or some other doofus tossing it really high and far and just crazy, you would die. I mean, these darts could land in your head or in your face or your chest or anywhere, and they were killing people.
I'm laughing,
but
saw that toy.
Yeah.
Wow. That is a killer toy for sure.
Well, they were metal.
And with a
metal
pointed,
spikes.
Yeah, because they had to go right into the ground.
I mean, I have a picture of the box, but I don't have a picture of the actual darts. But just think of a dart and it's giant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the toy, I'm just going to read what comes with this. We're going to post these on our Instagram stories. So look for them as not stories, but as a reel. We're going to have it posted as a reel. Here's how it's described. Jarts were heavy lawn darts with metal spikes designed to fly in the air. They were also a recipe for disaster. Oh. The toy had already been banned once, but officials ruled they could come back as long as they were labeled for adults only.
Wow.
I know. People still use them and people died. And then finally it was just taken off the market. Crazy, right?
That is crazy.
I can't believe you didn't hear of those.
No.
Maybe because you're younger than I am, maybe they had already been taken off the market by that time.
Maybe.
Yeah. Possibly. Anyway, that's my first one.
Okay.
Do you have one?
My first one is something that was a trend toy in the 70s, I would say, for sure.
Yeah.
And it was so dangerous. I think it's almost more dangerous than the jarts.
How can that be?
The clackers.
Clackers.
Okay, they were 2 balls on a string, and you'd go clack, 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 and everybody had them.
I do remember. I never had those, but why were those dangerous?
Because they exploded.
What?
Yes, back in the day.
Exploded like
Well,
how?
I mean, they just shatter while you're clacking.
Oh my gosh.
And everybody had them.
Could go in your eye.
And you'd get like 2 or 3 pairs. They're like marble balls.
Marble?
Well, I don't know exactly what they were made out of, but they were heavy.
It's a little heavy.
And you'd want them to hit each other, and then you'd flip them all around.
Oh my God.
And they would, these big, heavy, like pool balls. Like,
oh wow.
and you'd not that big.
Yeah.
But do you remember them?
I do kind of remember. I never had them, so I never did them. But I'm seeing the commercial in my head for some reason.
The clackers. You just do this, and they'd bounce off each other, and then people would do this, and then they'd flip around, and it was so awful. And they were in and out because of the danger.
Well, you could actually hit yourself in the head.
Oh,
right?
hit yourself in the head, and
The
then
jaw.
a piece flies in your eye.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you're doing the big flips where they're going backwards and forwards,
Yeah.
if you let loose, they could just hit somebody else.
Jeez.
And everybody had the clackers.
Well, I do remember. Yeah, clackers. Was that the jingle? Clackers.
I don't know, but I found it online, and so I do have a picture, so we can put it up.
Oh,
and
good.
I think it's a black and white picture
Well, I mean,
of the clackers.
Sure.
Yeah.
A lot of the advertising was still in black and white, and print advertising was a lot of it, like newspaper, was black and white. So, oh my God. Oh, Lord. Okay, this is one that I didn't have. I didn't even really know about this, but a couple of these were sent in by a listener
Okay.
who also has a couple of things that I have a couple quotes from her about stuff that, oh God, it's called Swing Wing. I've never seen this one.
No.
But it's bizarre. I'm just going to read the accompanying copy. It's like a hula hoop for your head.
Oh my gosh.
Transagram Games developed the simple concept in 1965, and it probably gave kids vertigo, whiplash, and neck problems for years to come. I only have a still picture of this, if you can see it. I'm going to try to find it on YouTube.
Jeez.
Because something like
Wow.
that, I don't know about. So maybe if I can find a YouTube of it in action, maybe we can see how you could get concussed or whatever.
Did it go around the top of your head?
It says a hula hoop for your head. So maybe it attaches to your head and the hula hoop is around it. But if anybody else, anybody's listening knows about the swing wing, fill us in.
That is crazy.
It's a little weird. Do you have another one that you want to talk about? Or you want me to go to the next one? Or
No, I have another one.
okay.
Pogo stick. Do you think that was dangerous, the pogo stick?
Well, I always thought of it as really good exercise for kids, and it was kind of like get your energy out. But I mean, you could boing, boing, boing.
Well, it's like
somewhere.
Back in the day, people would, you just get it, and there's no instructions. There's no, there's no safety equipment.
Self-explanatory.
But, I thought that was kind of a dangerous toy. It was really popular when I was growing up.
Yeah, and I didn't have one, but I know a couple of my friends did, and I remember the parents kind of liked it because it was really exhausting for the kids.
Right.
I mean, you really expended quite a bit of energy doing that because you're having to jump
and
on
kind of control the thing because it didn't always jump straight.
No, it did not, and therein lies the danger.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, that could make the list. Let's see. I have one.
Okay.
It's called, and I'd never heard of this one, but it's bizarre. It's called Six Finger.
Okay.
It's just weird. Six Finger was the quintessential you'll shoot your eye out toy of the 1960s. It was not only dangerous, it was also bizarre, which I think I already said. Obviously, kids found it really cool to have a sixth finger that doubled as a toy gun.
Oh my gosh.
But did manufacturers really think people would be fooled that a cold plastic object could be mistaken for an extra finger? I'm sure the kids loved it. Here's a photo. Okay, it's weird looking, so kids were attracted by the...
Okay, so wait. The sixth finger...
The one, it's in between the thumb and the index finger.
It was an extra index finger.
Pretty much.
And you would shoot... What was it for? What was the intention of it?
It's a toy gun. It's like
a
your
gun.
sixth finger, but instead of you're using your index finger, you use the sixth finger.
Oh, wow.
Maybe there's a reason I never heard of it because I think
That
it's
is wild.
very strange.
I don't have a
Boys
lot
would
of
like that, I
dangerous
guess.
toys.
Okay, well, I have more.
Okay, yeah. Let's
Okay.
hear your list.
Actually, Easy Bake Oven. You probably had one of those.
No, I never got one, and I wanted one so
Well,
bad.
your parents were very mean.
I know. Everybody had an Easy Bake. Now, I can imagine the danger, but let's go through it because I'm thinking a couple things.
Well, I mean, the heating unit.
Right.
I mean, and the thing is,
Here you're 6 years old trying to...
right. But they okay, I have to tell you, this one kind of surprised me. And I've heard about it, the dangers of the Easy Bake Oven before. Because here was my experience with the Easy Bake Oven, which I begged for.
Did you get one?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, not me.
Well, as we've established,
Yes.
cruel, very cruel,
Yeah.
almost child abuse, really.
Right.
Yeah. So I remember it was Father's Day, and I'd gotten the Easy Bake Oven for my birthday, which was months earlier. And I was like, I'm going to make, a cake for my dad for Father's Day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so I don't know what success or lack of success I had before with it, but I remember like, oh, I'm going to, make it. So I mixed it all up and I put it in. It never really baked. I mean, I guess I thought it had, but I was so excited to present this to my dad. Part of me kind of knew inside myself that it wasn't really completely done, but what could I do? This was the Easy Bake Oven. I put it in. I was in there for the prescribed amount of time. I remember bringing it to my dad. My dad looks at it and he goes, oh, this is so good. This is so good. And I said, well, Dad, aren't you going to eat it? Oh, you know what? I just had breakfast because it was like breakfast in bed.
Oh,
he goes,
okay.
Mom already served me breakfast in bed and I'll save this for my dessert in a little bit. And then, I'm like, oh, okay. Well, of course, then you lose attention. I'm like 5 years old.
Right.
Lose it to four. I think I was about 4. Maybe.
You're operating an
I'm
oven.
operating this thing with a heating unit.
Mm-hmm.
I remember thinking, oh, it should be warmer. There was a light bulb in there. It was
I
a light
remember
bulb.
That.
How is that supposed to bake anything? We came with little mixes. I came back after going outside and playing or whatever. Are you going to eat it now? He goes, oh, no, I already had it. You know it went in the garbage.
Right.
But that was my experience. And I remember thinking, it's a little suspicious. Thinking, well, it didn't really look baked. And I didn't call him on it. But I was like, oh, I thought, did you save any? Or, anyway, so that was and I'm going, so this is on the list of whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a small watt light bulb.
Right.
So I don't know, maybe later they put actual electrical units in that you plugged in. Well, I mean, we had to plug it in, but
right.
You know what I mean? Like coils or something.
Or a huge notice, supervision required.
Oh, I don't remember if he even said that.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. A couple more kooky ones. These are toys that were, now would be deemed too dangerous for kids, but we had them. And we thought they were fine. Now, this one I've not heard of, but this is in the article. It's called Super Elastic Bubble Plastic by Whammo. Remember Whammo?
Whammo.
Yeah. They had all the crazy stuff. The company, Whammo.
The gooey stuff. Is that?
Whammo is the company.
Okay. Well,
but they always had like goofy stuff.
Okay. I can't remember anything that they might have had. So what?
Well, that's okay. Super Elastic Bubble Plastic. Oh, shucks. I just lost the...
Super elastic bubble plastic.
You squeezed out a little bit of liquid plastic, rolled it into a ball. Oh, I did do this. I had this.
Oh,
and blew through a straw to create durable, colorful bubbles.
Okay.
And it sounds like it'd be okay, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, what's so dangerous about it?
Okay. The bubbles contain chemicals like polyvinyl acetate, which is found in glue.
Oh, good.
Like glue sniffers. And ethyl acetate, which is found in nail polish remover. Remember, they always said...
Oh, yeah.
That was found to be in the 70s even, like, nail polish remover. And they changed the formulation to a safer one, I think in the 80s. You could buy the regular nail polish remover, or you could get the safer one.
Oh, okay.
Which he had to work harder. But if you inhaled this, you got a mouthful of toxic fumes.
Oh.
This super elastic bubble plastic.
Oh, God, that sounds morbid.
I know. Okay, creepy collars. You heard of those, right?
Yes.
And you could make them, remember?
Right.
Yes. From Mattel.
Yes, you poured. That's the one I was thinking of.
Okay. And how do you remember?
Well, no,
it?
that's not the one.
My
But,
little brother had this.
okay, so you would heat up this gooey stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and that required heat and a heating element, and then it would melt all up, and you'd have these molds,
Yeah.
and then you'd pour the real hot lava kind of thing. So that's dangerous into these molds, and then they would freeze up. And then you'd have like a spider or a snake, creepy crawlers.
Yeah.
I
and they were
totally
really
remember
fun.
that. We had creepy crawlers, yes.
Well,
Oh, gosh.
that's right. It says not only included noxious fumes, but an exposed hot plate, which you're talking about, which had the molds, right?
Right.
Okay. Kids were supposed to heat it up to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. So the plastic was plastic bugs.
And we're just breathing that in
Yeah. And
while we're touching 300 degrees if we're not careful.
plastic goop. Does that sound familiar?
Plastic goop, yeah.
Okay. Plastic goop. Now it would be a sign. If I saw plastic goop, I go, what? But then we're thinking, oh, plastics.
Mm-hmm.
Just like in The Graduate.
Right.
Son, plastics are the future. Boy, was he right.
Great. Yeah.
Anyway.
It kind of reminds me of slime. Like, slime today?
Yeah, but that's made with.
I'm sure it's all made with environmentally friendly products.
Yeah, it's like some kind of.
Pour it on people.
Boric acid and vegetable dye, right? Or something else.
I don't know.
Well, I just remember one of my neighbors across the street who had a little girl. They were all into making that goop or whatever. And I remember saw the instructions or the ingredients. I went, well, this is okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and she was very
It's
careful,
just
mom.
messy.
Yeah, it was messy, but better than toxic. Anyway, there was another thing called the little lady stove, and I do remember.
That sounds old.
Yeah, it says in the 1960s, officials
okay.
wanted to ban it because it generated too much heat, and guess how much? 600 degrees.
What? Boy, they really did great at test marketing these things with children.
I mean, most stoves you don't even use for 600 degrees, right?
No.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
The water wiggle.
Was that the thing that went up in the air?
Yes.
Yes, I remember the water wiggle.
Yes.
You attached it to a hose, and then it would just jackrabbit up.
Yep. And it
So
would whip around.
Yeah.
So it could hit you.
Right. I remember that. You never knew which direction it was going to go. It was just like all over the lawn.
Oh, wait. I just found oh, God.
What?
Okay. On this new website,
Yeah.
I just found a video of the swing wing. Look at this. Is this not death waiting to happen? Look at that.
Oh my
Can you see
goodness. That is,
Oh, my God.
we have to post that. That looks so bizarre. It looks like brain damage 101.
Oh, this kid is, wait, you got to keep watching it. This kid is upside down hanging from a tree. And
Doing
he's
the
doing
wiggle. Oh, the swing wing.
This has got to
That
be
is crazy.
Yeah, I'm glad you said swing wing. I don't think
Okay, I've got one here.
Okay.
It's not really a toy, but
Well, it didn't have to be a toy.
it's promoting something very bad.
Well, I can't wait. I'm breathless.
Candy cigarettes.
Oh, I love those. I still love them.
Oh, I do too. But the funny thing is, the ad is just like Dad. And it shows Dad smoking a cig.
Oh,
and
my God.
It's almost like
what does it say? Refreshing orange flavor. Refreshing orange flavor candy, just like Dad.
Die.
And it shows Dad and little boy.
It shows Dad smoking a real cigarette, and it shows a little boy looking at Dad like, oh, and I have my cigarettes too.
Aspirational.
Right.
Oh.
And we'll post it. It's classic. It's like classic of what not to do.
Oh, my God. Okay, that, I got to say, that might be the best one yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Lordy. Okay, here, this is called Luscious Limbs.
Ew.
It's not really necessarily dangerous. It's very weird, although it probably was toxic too.
Mm-hmm.
You would create body parts out of a mold, but not like a hot mold.
Oh, and you'd eat them?
Yeah, so you got to eat the body parts.
Oh.
So hands, feet, and ears, which, there are gummies now that look like
Body
fingers
parts,
and body parts. So this was just a precursor.
A precursor to cannibalism, like some mass murderers enjoyed.
Okay, that's really putting it there, far out there, but I get it.
It could groom somebody to
Oh, God.
to be a murderer, and well, we have them in the Midwest.
and And then when the person's being interviewed, well, it all started with the luscious limbs.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it gave
It's
me a
their
taste
fault.
for human flesh. Like,
And they
geez.
sue the company because that's why they're in prison.
Oh, boy,
Yeah.
you have really projected that out there.
Well, yeah. That's what
Yeah.
happens.
Well, oh, wow. And let that be a cautionary tale. That be a cautionary tale, listeners.
Exactly.
Holy Moses. Well, anyway,
I have one more.
oh,
I
good,
don't know
good,
if this
because
toy
I think I'm
could.
fresh out.
Okay. When I look back, I think it could be really dangerous because you would pull and tug and slinky.
Slinky?
Well, slinky because it was like so wound tight, and
It was just boring.
it was a boring toy. But if you took all those wires and you started, they were sharp at the
Oh,
ends,
that's true.
and then you pulled them, and then they'd snap tight, and they could just, I don't know.
Wow, for me, that was probably my most disappointing toy ever.
I know.
And I begged it, and it's like it showed on the TV, oh, you can let it go down the stairs. It'll walk down the stairs by itself.
That's all it did.
And that's all, exactly.
And they had a really good jingle. Remember?
Slinky, slinky,
And so,
da 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 da,
Mhm.
right?
and then you're like, I gotta have a slinky. It's
I
like-
remember thinking, this is the worst. I really used up a good toy request.
Oh, when
For
you
this
got
one.
that and you tried it out and you're like, that's all it does?
I know. And I couldn't even, we had carpeted stairs. So it wasn't like it even wanted to go down our stairs.
No, you had, yeah.
It was like getting caught in the fibers.
Exactly.
I think finally I took it outside and put it, on the concrete steps of the front porch or something. And it was still like, well, that's one step down, big deal.
Right, right.
And
Oh my
they still
gosh.
make them and they're
Oh, they do?
plastic now, of course.
Oh, okay. Well, that's,
So maybe that's safer.
yeah, unless, yeah.
No sharp edges.
Who knows?
But kids will find some way to, use it against them. Here's something. How about like experiences that
Oh, yeah.
things that
Okay.
we should have not been
Mhm.
doing?
Yes.
You've always got like that weird uncle, right?
Yep.
Who tries to slip you some, but it wasn't really frowned on that much, right?
It slip you some booze or something?
Yeah. Or
Oh,
like,
okay.
hey kid, here's a cigarette.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not like it was kind of like, well, he
Okay.
shouldn't have done that. But
Right.
like other than now be met with outrage, right?
Exactly.
But how about this stuff with cars, like no seatbelts?
Oh,
I mean, that's been talked
Oh.
about ad nauseum.
well, I when my parents went on vacation, I would sneak the car out, but I was too scared to drive it, so my friend drove it, and we'd get it going, and then she would just floor it, and I'm like, oh my god!
Jeez.
And we were probably like 14.
Whoa.
We go on joyrides.
Whoa. 14?
Yeah, and it was more peer pressure than me because it was an opportunity when my parents were out of town. It's like, oh my god, let's take the car out.
Wow.
I go, I don't know how to drive. And then she'd drive and we would just go zooming around the neighborhood. Years later, we'd look back and go, what in the heck?
So just tell me, she was the one driving, not you,
Mhm.
because she was
I was
obviously
scared
the
to drive.
daredevil.
Yeah.
And so
We would
whatever became of her is what I want to know with that kind of wild streak.
Um,
You don't have to get specific. Was it not good?
Yeah.
Okay. There's another cautionary tale.
Exactly.
Speaking of, okay, the person, first of all, the listener who provided us with all this stuff, Peg,
Uh-huh.
first of all, thank you. This was awesome. She sent all the
Yes.
photos. She provided just most of the info, which was great. But she also has this story. Her older cousin, who was 17, let all the younger cousins drive their family car in parking lots. Okay,
Okay.
at least it was a parking lot.
And 17, usually...
Yeah, but she was 11. 11
Oh, ooh. Okay.
when she first
okay,
drove.
Okay. Whoa.
She says she was very skilled, but who knows? Maybe the
At
kids, some of them
11?
were like 8. Well, maybe it was just self-congratulatory. Like, I was really skilled.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or maybe she thought so. Or maybe she was.
Yeah.
Anyway, maybe the other kids were even younger. She was 11, which is insane. I thought it was insane when
Wow.
you were saying 14. She was 11.
Oh my gosh.
Thank God it was just a parking lot, but maybe there were other kids who could barely see over the steering wheel. I never
Anything
did
can
anything like
happen.
that.
Oh,
I mean,
we did that. That was...
see, I was a rules follower. I still am. I'm like, rules? Oh, okay, I better not do that because then I'll get in trouble. Or,
Well,
something will
one
happen.
thing we did that my parents let us do,
Yeah.
which was so dangerous. We had a swimming pool, And we had this big giant fence that stood several feet off the pool. And we would climb up this giant fence and jump into the pool. And it was almost like jumping off the roof into the pool.
Oh my God.
Crazy, because there was a big space and you could just land in the cement. And it was just, and the fence was really wobbly, but it was tall. It was about, I don't know, 12, 15 feet tall.
Oh Lord.
And we would, and the fence was, yeah. When I look back and go, oh my God, that was crazy. But my dad would be like, yeah, this is great.
Wait, your dad?
Yeah,
is the
well,
one
my
who-
parents were fine with it. We're like, we're just going to jump off the fence. Oh, okay.
If they know, or if they had known about your driving, it sounds like they may not have even been,
Yeah, phased,
at all.
probably.
Like, oh, you took the car out? Well, okay.
Exactly. As long as you're okay.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I remember I used to take the train to go where I wanted to go, and I was afraid.
Did you sneak?
No.
Oh, okay.
It was like, okay.
Oh, right.
I would
Uh-huh.
take the train. Well, I mean, between here and Lake Forest or whatever. But I was young. I was 8 years old. I'd just hop on, or I would
Wow.
take,
By yourself.
yeah,
Okay.
because I wanted to go to Lake Forest and
Okay.
like,
And that
Oh.
back then, I could see that being very much considered safe,
yeah. I mean,
but definitely not today.
well, not, yeah.
No.
I mean, my dad, my dad, let's do a way throwback. I would hear the stories about, okay, he would take the L. He grew up in Oak Park.
Okay.
And he would take the L downtown. And he was, oh my gosh, I think he was a freshman in high school because he was taking drumming lessons
Oh,
from a
my.
very famous man,
Wow.
Gene Krupa, who's extremely famous drummer. But he would take the L downtown and take his lessons in these nightclubs downtown with all these jazz, because Gene Krupa was a jazz drummer, in these jazz clubs where
At night?
I don't know.
Probably.
I
if it's a
mean,
jazz club.
Well, yeah,
Whoa.
because those guys don't get up until
Yeah.
late. He would take the L from Oak Park down to Chicago to these jazz clubs
Wow.
and get his lessons from Gene Krupa. And he goes, oh yeah, that's where I learned that I'm never going to do drugs. I don't want to do,
oh my
and,
gosh.
and he would tell me in lurid detail about the stuff that he would have seen.
whoa,
People shooting up,
Ooh.
at musicians,
Uh-huh.
and,
Yeah.
and this would have to be in the 40s. What the hell?
Oh my gosh.
I know it's
Wow.
crazy, but
It's crazy.
Anyway.
Well, times have changed. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, I mean, it's sad to see technology really taking over children's entertainment now.
yeah.
And it's not, toys aren't, I mean, yes, there's a lot of toys still available.
Yeah.
But as the kids, get up, or from early ages on now, they want that screen.
Yeah. Which
And
is,
it's just ick.
well, that's
Yeah.
got to change.
It has to
There's
change.
got to be some reform in that area
Yeah.
because it's really stilting their creativity,
Mm-hmm.
which is just the least of it. And it's harming their bodies. They're harming their
Yeah.
eyes, but whatever.
Yeah.
If anybody has any other horrifying stories or any toys that we missed, we would love to hear from you. Post it to our Instagram this will be coming out. Well, let's see.
Probably.
Well, I guess it'll come out. You hear it. What am I thinking of?
I don't know.
I feel like I'm still on live radio. Like, like I'm talking to you live and then it'll be coming out on Wednesday. Like, what the hell? Anyway, when it comes out, post on our Instagram and let us know if you have any other horrifying stories or really scary, inappropriate toys. Now, we have something else to talk about. I know that, and I already forgot what it was because
Megan Markle. So her show dropped, probably last week.
What channel is that on?
I think it's Netflix because that's
Oh,
where she got the
that's why-
$100 million deal.
Oh, that's right. That was a while
Yes.
ago, right?
Right. And I mean, the deal was on, it was off.
Yeah.
And so basically, I'm sure a lot of people have watched it out of curiosity. I didn't watch it, but I've heard a lot of feedback and I watched some clips.
Uh-huh.
To me, it's like a Martha Stewart knockoff
Yeah.
because she's doing a cooking show and she has her garden where she will pick her fresh herbs and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is to perfection. So it's very manicured, it's very structured, but she's trying to just, make and go lightly.
Is that
No,
from the show, or did you make
no,
that
I just
up?
made that up.
That's really good. That's good.
The name of the show is With Love, Megan. Or wait.
I don't think I like that title.
Something.
It sounds a little presumptuous.
Well, yeah, it is.
Or something. I don't know if that's the right term. But
She has a guest on each show. Some people have already sped through and watched all 8 episodes. So I'm hearing feedback from various episodes.
Okay.
Mindy Kaling was on the first show.
Oh, I love her.
And she's really funny. And it was kind of awkward because their communication, when they were talking back and forth, Mindy was really real. She's just like, yeah, that's how I would do it.
Well, that's kind of who she is.
For example, she's like, oh, Mindy goes, oh, I like your outfit. And Megan goes, oh, the pants are Zara. And the sweater was like a $1,500 sweater from, some designer. And
Did she actually say that? It's
no,
a 15?
But everybody else figured it out.
Oh.
And that became public knowledge. And she's wearing this cream, beautiful outfit. And she's in the kitchen with, her perfect apron on. And they're chatting back and forth. And she starts talking about birthday parties and how Megan likes to hand make all the goodie bags and put specific things in them. And she says to Mindy, so what do you do for your children's birthday? And she goes, I hire somebody. What else are you supposed to do? And Megan's like, oh, no. I would never do that. Oh, BS, she wouldn't do it. She's got a whole staff and team. But another funny little clip that came up.
That sounds a little self-congratulatory.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
Okay, that's right. Mindy goes, oh, and Megan Markle, you are so funny. She's like, oh, no. Don't use Markle. That's not my last name.
Oh, I did hear that
my
clip.
last name is Sussex.
Right. Yeah.
That is our family name. Okay. She leaves England. She dumps everybody over there. And now she wants this claim to fame with the Sussex family name because I want to share my name with Harry, with H. She calls Harry H now. And it's just so fake and phony. You
don't like her, I can tell.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
The show already got sold for a second season, which she
Really?
already had filmed. She already filmed it too.
Well, okay, so she filmed 2 seasons, so they had already
shot season 2 without having the green light that it was going to go on. But there's already been 2.
There's 2 episode installments.
Mm-hmm. But season 2 isn't going to come up for a while. I mean, they'll probably have a break after season 1.
Right.
But
they green-lighted the second season. That
after the second episode of season 1.
The numbers must be okay, because otherwise, why would they give up programming?
Oh yeah, and they did invest a lot in her.
What was that contract? Do you remember how much was it?
I think it was $100 million.
Wow.
Well, I think it was a combination of things, though. Like Harry was doing a podcast, and that wasn't the main.
Oh, okay.
They agreed to do X amount of this and that through Netflix.
Okay.
And they also shoot the show not at her house; it's at a neighbor's.
Why would they not do it at her house?
She doesn't want her personal home shown, from what I understand.
That's a bit disingenuous.
Mm-hmm. And also, it was brought up that they used $20,000 worth of utensils on the first show. Like all the pots and pans were like from France and this and that, and everything's over the top.
A lot of copper and stuff, copper bottom things. Probably. Or whatever, that sort of thing.
So I think they sell some of the things that are used on the show.
Oh, and they get a piece of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
yeah.
It's going to be this whole...
Well, I'm wondering how this is different from Martha Stewart.
It's not. It's total copy.
Okay, except that Martha Stewart did do it in her own home, didn't she?
Yes.
Her house in Connecticut or wherever. And so that already makes it more authentic.
Right.
Did Martha Stewart get really dressed up for hers? See, I never saw those either.
No, she didn't. She wore very sensible clothes. There was no glamour.
There was no glamour. Okay, so this is how I would actually bake or cook or prepare food.
And Martha was a little over the top too, because she always had the perfect everything of utensils, but she paved the way for the whole industry of the phenomenon of baking and cooking and gardening, where this is, everybody's doing their parts, but they're more authentic in themselves.
Okay, so
And-
that's what really bothers you is her presentation of an inauthentic.
well, I can't imagine that she really lives like that, like day to day.
You know,
What do you think?
well, I don't know because I don't understand that lifestyle of stay at home domesticity. I don't get that to begin with.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure it's delightful. Sounds relaxed. I would love to do that, but I'm trying to make this make sense in my head, like everything that you've talked about. And it sounds like a less genuine Martha Stewart because it is the same from what you're detailing.
It absolutely is.
Well, anyway, there have been a lot of copycats, and there's that couple down in Texas. I don't know who they are either. They're on HGTV or something, but they've got that whole line and at Target and all that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And they've like practically bought that town, the town where that murder was.
Waco.
Yeah, remember
Yes.
Waco, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They've practically bought that whole town, I guess.
Remember.
But anyway, whoever they are.
Yeah.
So there
They
are
had
a
kind
lot
of a different take.
copycats.
They are.
Okay, I've never seen
But
them
I
either.
feel like their personalities, they're real people.
Okay, so that's
versus-
what bothers you.
Yeah, it bothers me
Okay.
that, wow, we're just believed that's how she lives every day.
Yeah,
In true perfection. And let me make sure I write some notes on your lunches and tie a little bow. I mean, it was over the top insane.
So in reality, life is messy, and she's not showing any of the mess. Is that what you're saying?
No.
Okay.
I mean, she really, and some people on the positive side said, oh my God, she must really enjoy cooking. So there might be a little bit of that there too, where it does show that she does love to cook.
Yeah.
But it's just, for the regular person,
Yeah.
it's hard to relate to.
I guess to me what I'm hearing is that it is like Martha Stewart, but Martha Stewart had a genuine quality. Although I remember people making fun of Martha Stewart a lot. Remember parodied on Saturday Night Live. Remember by that one actress. Well, anyway, there were a bunch of sketches.
Yeah.
I can't remember the actress. She was in the stage play of Wicked. I can't think of her name, but she used to do parodies of Martha Stewart on Saturday Night Live, and it was hysterical. And it was sort of the same thing about, oh yes, and you have to tie it just so, and then only cut the chives when they are at this height. And so
That's exactly what's happening on the show.
okay,
exact
but
same
there
thing.
is a tinge of disingenuousness. Okay, so okay.
Yeah.
I guess I would watch it for sport if I got that channel or Netflix, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'd
Anyways.
like anybody's feedback on that too, but
Oh yeah.
I know you
Come
don't,
on,
you
come
don't
on.
care for her now. That's for sure. I can tell.
No, I don't. And I just think
That's okay.
the way that she landed here and she dragged it Harry over here, the whole story bothers
Yeah.
me.
Okay.
So
All
it's
right.
not just her.
So that colors your
Mhm.
perception already of the show.
Right.
Well, we'll have to see what happens because I can't say that your feedback is completely. It's not what I've heard, or it's not. No. It's exactly what I've heard.
Oh, okay.
I've heard mixed, but mostly negative, and saying pretty much exactly what you're saying.
Okay. So we'd love to hear from you. I'm sure some of you out there have seen it.
Yeah, yeah. I guess there's some garden scenes and stuff like that. That I would like.
Oh, they're beautiful.
Oh,
They're
but it's not her
absolutely-
house.
I know.
I want to know whose house
Right.
it is. I wonder if it's Oprah's house.
I know. Oh, the kitchen's fabulous.
Is
the
it?
garden's fabulous. Everything's just perfect.
Okay, I only saw some still shots of the interior, but I saw video of the garden, and I was immediately just
Yeah.
fraught with envy.
Whoa.
Like, oh, look at that.
No, those kind of people have gardeners that work on it all the time, caretakers.
Oh, well, there's that.
I mean,
See, I guess that's it. They should have shown her digging around.
yeah, getting dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah, spilling the spaghetti sauce. I mean,
Well,
come on, let's
did
get real.
she not even spill spaghetti sauce, or
No.
there was no mess?
No mess.
Okay,
no
that-
mess.
yeah,
No fuss,
all
no
right.
muss.
Well, I'm turned
Yeah.
off then.
Yeah.
Did Martha Stewart ever make messes?
Well, I think occasionally you'd see her. Yeah.
Good.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. I'm intrigued now. I was not interested before, but now I'm intrigued.
I would love to hear Martha Stewart's take on it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, come on, Martha. We'll interview you. We'd love to. We want to hear your feedback on somebody impersonating you.
We'll have to look up,
Yeah.
maybe Google and see if she's
I
had a
will do
reaction.
that.
I can't imagine she hasn't had a take on it.
Oh, I'm sure she does. I'm
Yeah.
sure people have interviewed her, want to get her feel,
I
her
don't
take on it.
see her being down and dirty with anything, but she may be make maybe a snide remark or something here and there would be interesting,
Right.
Or maybe positive.
Or maybe
Who
she
knows?
thought, well, I paved the way for everybody else to make their own fortune.
And she's carrying the torch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. Well, boy, we sure.
Yickety yacked.
Yeah, we did. This was a longer than usual, but I don't know. The toy thing just brought back so many memories. Truly a stroll down memory lane of the dangerous times of being a kid.
Yeah.
Or
Those years, wonder
just
year, the wonder years.
The wonder years. Well, this was for kids basically who were born between 1954 and 1964, which does that encompass you?
It does.
Yeah, okay. So
Yeah.
that's when these dangerous toys that we discussed came out.
Yeah.
Thank you
And
for
we
listening.
survived.
Whoops.
We survived.
And we survived. Alarmingly. Oh, wait, there was one more.
Okay.
Shoot.
Okay, let's
No, there was one more of a story of that the listener Peg sent in.
Oh, okay.
And I have to find it.
Okay.
And this is a true story, also from the same listener who must have had a very interesting childhood because there is an abundance. I mean, she sent other stuff too.
Wow.
Anyway, okay.
No
Remember
supervision in that house.
Well, I think it was
It
a big
was-
family.
Yeah.
You know.
And everybody was doing it, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember those big station wagons, the country squires?
Mm-hmm.
It was in that National Lampoon Family Vacation.
right.
Remember the wood on the
With those
faux
big swing back doors that weighed a ton.
Exactly. And had sort of the wood on the side.
The wood
faux-
paneling.
Yeah. Okay. It's the late 60s. Her neighbors in New Jersey, where she grew up, in the late 60s, no seatbelts, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Her friend Ray was in the way back. Remember, it's called the way back.
The way back.
Yeah.
I want to sit in the way back.
Yeah,
I totally
that was-
remember because you faced backwards.
Yeah.
Like you looked at the cars that were coming behind you. It was really cool.
Yeah, as long as you didn't barf. I mean, I
Right.
would have barfed, but
Oh, I love sitting in the way back.
never had one growing up. But his dad turned a corner really fast, and the guy
Uh-huh.
spilled out onto the street.
Oh my God.
What he learned was you need to lock the back, or it can swing open. His dad never noticed, and he kept going.
What?
And the kid, was obviously injured, and he limped home. So he hurt his legs or
Oh my God.
somehow.
That is so funny.
And then after they finally came back and where's Ray?
Yeah.
Asked if he was okay. And I guess he was somewhat okay. So anyway, so she saw him again a few years ago, and she brought it up, and he said that everyone there was still around, and they still tease him about it, and that was almost 60 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so here, I've got a picture of that. 1966 Ford wagons. You remember?
Oh, that was exactly the
Isn't
wagon that we had.
Exactly. Oh, here's
Yes.
an even better picture of him. Yeah, there you go. With the way back open.
Exact.
And that was her friend.
My gosh.
He could have been run over.
Yeah.
Right?
But the funny thing is, probably the door slammed, opened, and then he fell out, and the door slammed shut.
I would imagine.
And so the dad's just tootling down the road.
Or he got to a stop sign or something.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe he saw it in the mirror or something. Or because, I mean, you didn't necessarily know. The
Right.
kid, if it's a little kid, you would not necessarily see him in the back, right?
Yeah.
Because you had the seats, like bench seats.
Because the heads could be below the
Yeah.
top of the seat.
I mean,
Oh, my
I don't.
gosh. That's so funny.
I know. I thought that was a good
yeah.
story.
That's a great
I'm
one.
not a very good storyteller of other people's stories, but I thought that was kind of
That's
funny.
funny.
I hope it was worth the wait of tuning back in or staying tuned. I keep on hitting this doggone thing. It sounds like a dog collar, but it's not. It's my thing. So I'm not going to edit it out. So if anybody hears that, no, it's not a dog. Although we're going to post
We got to post pod dog.
we got to post pod dog, and we've got a cutie pie. Well, they're all cutie pies, but we got a little tiny cutie pie, and we will post Pod Dog's picture. Little baby and me. Thank you for listening. Tune in next week. We hope you enjoyed this one, and we would love to get your feedback because we know there are boomers out there and they're listening.
You know who you are.
Yeah, you know who you are, and it's okay. It's okay.
It's okay.
All right. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Harvey. Ladies Who Question is executive produced and edited by me, Lisa Dominique, and also executive produced by Holli Caulfield. Holli also does most of our research, and Claire Caulfield is in charge of technical assistance and social media. Music, My Lionheart. Sketch music by Florian Manx and Matthew Anderson. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe, follow, rate, and review Ladies Who Question on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Send your thoughts to ladieswhoquestion@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Threads, and our website, ladieswhoquestion.com.
All content discussed on Ladies Who Question are the opinions of Lisa Dominique and Holli Caulfield and should not be construed as advice of any kind. By listening to this podcast, you agree not to use this podcast as advice of any personal or medical issue for yourself or others. This disclaimer also applies to guests or contributors to the podcast.